Hello everybody, Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and yes, I know literally every other single PokeTuber on YouTube has made a video centered around this guy, but I decided, you know what, screw it, let's just go ahead and bite the bullet, because this card is way too much fun to not do a deck video around, and that is Volcanion EX from Steam Siege. Now, before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you like this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, and maybe subscribe. It helps us out a lot and lets us do more for you guys. And as for the question of the day, one of my really good friends, Flint, is going to be salivating when I ask this question, and I know he's going to have like a paragraph and a half for this answer, but what is your favorite fire-type Pokemon and why? My friend Flint, I mean, that's his favorite type, and I mean, his name's not actually Flint. He used to be on the channel, but he moved away, so unfortunately we had to somewhat part ways in terms of YouTube, but we are still really good friends to this day, and he absolutely loves fire types, so I'm kind of intrigued to see what he puts. But as for me, I would have to say that my favorite fire type is Infernape, just because, I mean, that thing, first of all, it's a very fast U-turner in UU, which, I mean, anybody that knows me and knew me when I played UU knows that I love fast U-turn, and Volt-turn is one of my favorite strategies, if not my favorite strategy, in all of competitive Pokemon. And also, Infernape can also run, like, Choice Banded, Choice Specs, Nasty Plot, Swords Dance, all those different sets. I mean, Infernape was just so powerful and versatile that I really like it, and I'm actually kind of looking forward to trying to make a deck with it coming up soon. But anyway, on to the deck. Like I said, every YouTuber and their mother has put out a Volcanion EX deck, and I mean, I can totally see why after making this deck and testing it out. I mean, it's really fun, and is probably the most hyped deck coming out of Steam Siege. Granted, there weren't that many overly powerful cards coming out of Steam Siege. I mean, I guess really the best thing about Steam Siege was the supporters like Full Art Sycamore, Pokemon Ranger, and Ninja Boy, although Ninja Boy none of us can use on TCGO yet, so I'm actually really anxious to try that one out. But anyway, this deck is going to be centered around Volcanion EX, 180 HP, water, and fire type. Now, water and fire typing, even in competitive, or even in the video game, is completely unique, and so I was really excited to see Volcanion from that aspect. But now that the TCG is incorporating dual typing as well, I think, man, that goes way back. I recently found some very old Pokemon cards of mine, and I found some dual typings back then. But the fact that they are reincorporating it into the actual game, I find really awesome, and I'm excited to see what they do with that. Now, on to actual Volcanion and what it can do. You're really just going to use it for the Steam Up ability. I mean, its attack for 3 fire energy does, well, 3 energy, 2 fire, and a colorless does 130, and then this Pokemon can't attack during your next turn, so if it was just straight up like 3 energy for 130, then that would be pretty, I mean, that would be pretty decent. I mean, you could definitely work with that, but Steam Up is really cool, especially when you factor in all of the fire support and how a lot of the fire cards rely on having energy in the discard pile. Once during your turn, you may discard a fire energy from your hand. If you do, during this turn, your basic fire Pokemon's attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Now, that can power up Volcanion itself, that can power up things like Flareon, which I paired it with, and that can also power up Baby Volcanion, which is another thing I'm using in this deck. And these abilities do stack, so if you discard 3, you are doing 90 more damage with your basic fire Pokemon's attacks, which is freaking awesome. Now, as for the Pokemon we're running in the deck, I'm running 3 Shaman for draw support, because Shaman is Shaman like I always say, 2 Flareon because this is the kind of, well, I guess if I'm being completely honest, I am actually narrating this. Well, I'm live narrating the matches, but I had to go back through and redo my deck video, or the deck part of this video, because I ended up having 2 different versions, and this first version I'm showing you right here focuses a little more on Flareon being the main attacker and going for Blaze Ball more often, and then the next version focuses more on Volcanion being the main attacker and doing major damage with Power Heater and Steam Artillery. So there are 2 versions of this deck that you will see. I will get into the second version after I go through this one. If I'm being honest, I think I actually like the second version better, but this is the first deck you are going to see in this video, so I figured I might as well just go ahead and show that first. But anyway, I'm running 2 of the Flareon EX main attacker, Flash Fire, Blaze Ball. I mean, you guys pretty much, I think, know what Flareon does by now, but Flash Fire, once during your turn, you may move a Fire Energy from one of your Pokemon to this Pokemon. Works great in conjunction with Power Heater, which takes a Fire Energy and attaches to 2 different Pokemon on your bench, so you can put one on Flareon, then one on something else, and then Flareon can just bring that Fire Energy to itself. And also Flareon has the Blaze Ball. 50 does 20 more for each Fire Energy attached to this Pokemon. So Flareon has virtually no cap in terms of the damage it can do. I mean, if you attach all 10 Fire Energy, then it can do a whopping 250 damage, but really, Baby Volcanion is pretty good in its own right. I mean, Power Heater only does 20, but that can be powered up with Steam Up as well, and then also Steam Artillery does 100 for 3 Fire Energy, which again can also be powered up. So I mean, these two work really, really well together, and I figured that out after my first match, so I tailored the new deck to more of focusing on these two. But anyway, the next Pokemon I'm using is Hoopa, because while a lot of people I've seen use Scorched Earth and that type of thing, I'm actually running a couple Skyfield, because this way you can fill up the bench with like Volcanions, Volcanion EXs, and also not have to worry about Shaman and Hoopa taking up a crucial bench spot, because you can just play that there and have 8 bench spots, which is more than enough to get enough damage out there and have the energy in the Pokemon that you need to attack. So I am focusing more on a Skyfield version of this deck rather than a Scorched Earth version. On to the items. Well, and I'm also running 4 of the Hoopa EX, or the Hoopa EX, 4 of the Volcanion EX, just because, I mean, Volcanion is awesome, and because you want to be able to power up as much as possible. With Baby Volcanion, if you discard 3 energies with Steam Up, Steam Artillery does a whopping 190 damage, which is absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, on to the items. Running 1 Escape Rope and 1 Switch. I mean, that's kind of my standard thing. 4 Max Elixir, and this is the big difference between this deck and the next deck that I'm going to show you. Max Elixir really just powers up Jolteon, or not Jolteon, there's a Jolteon right there, but that's a Flareon. Max Elixir powers up Flareon and this Volcanion a lot faster, so that's why I'm running Max Elixir in this version. 1 Super Rod to get some stuff back in the deck. 3 Trainer's Mail. I wanted to run 4, but I decided to forego one of those to make room for another Max Elixir. 4 Ultra Ball to get everything out. 4 VS Seeker to reuse our supporters. 1 Fisherman, because you're going to be discarding so many Fire Energy in this deck. You want to be able to just bring a bunch back into your hand. That way you can steam up a bunch as well and just, you know, rinse and repeat. 1 Hex Maniac to shut down those things that shut down, like EXs and stuff like that. 1 Lysander, because Lysander is fantastic. 4-2 of N and Sycamore, just because, I mean, I love that line. It's very consistent and very nice to have the consistent draw support of Sycamore, but also have the option of N if you need it. 1 Pokemon Ranger, just to get rid of those nasty, like, Regice abilities and Jolteon abilities and stuff like that. 2-2 of Scorched Earth and Skyfield. I know I said this deck was kind of centered around Skyfield, but Scorched Earth was just too good in this deck to pass up, because it gives you extra draw support and also can be used in conjunction with Power Heater to get more energy on your Pokemon. 3 Fighting Fury Belts, because all of our attackers are basic Pokemon. Actually, not only are all of our attackers basic Pokemon, every single Pokemon in this deck is a basic Pokemon. 1 Floatstone. I actually wanted to tinker with this a little bit as well, although 1 was what I went with in this version, and then 10 Fire Energy. Now, you will see this version of the deck in the first match that I go into, but I decided that in the second match I wanted to tailor the deck a little more towards like Volcanion and Volcanion EX as opposed to Flareon. So this is the version that you'll see in the second part of the deck video, and as you can see, I got rid of all 4 Max Elixirs and put in 3 extra Fire Energy and 1 more Floatstone, just because I felt like I didn't have the Fire Energy when I needed it, so I couldn't use Steam Up when I really needed it to, so I added more Fire Energy there, and I added another Floatstone because honestly, Volcanion just kept getting Lysandered up, and that was really, really annoying. So I added another Floatstone in there just to have 4 means of getting Volcanion out of the active spot, and also have more Fire Energy for when I needed it. So you will see the first version of this deck in the first match, and in this version of this deck in the second match. So you know what? I'm done rambling. Let's just go ahead and see both of these guys in action. Alrighty, we have found one against Ryoga 1, 2, 3, 4, and oh boy. It's a water deck. We're going to have some fun with this one. I don't know. I still think we can come through because this deck is actually really, really fun and I enjoy using it. So we do win the coin flip. That is great for us. Means we get set up a little bit faster. And I mean, this deck actually doesn't mind being... the deck actually doesn't mind going second. But I was just showing off the Full Art Pokemon Ranger right there because I think that's such a cool card. But anyway, start with the Flareon and one Floatstone and a bunch of Ultra Balls. Ugh, it's not the best, but I mean, I can go ahead and Skyfield and just get like a Hoopa, I guess. Maybe, possibly, I don't know. Yeah, I think that will have to be... I think that'll have to be the play is go ahead and Ultra Ball for a Hoopa, play down the Skyfield, and go from there. It depends on what I draw. It definitely depends on what I draw. And okay, we see the Palkia, and... oh, boy. So we draw the Volcanion. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is Ultra Ball. I have to get rid of 2 Ultra Balls, which sucks. That really, really sucks. To grab my Hoopa, and then I can grab like 2 Volcanion and a Shaman or something like that. But I can play the Skyfield down there. Go ahead and play the Volcanion down. Put the Fighting Fury Belt. You know what? I'm just going to go for... I'm going to go for the non-EX attacker. Play the Floatstone onto Flareon, and that sucks because all of a sudden I don't have that Floatstone available for Volcanion anymore. But what I can do right now is go ahead and Hoopa for 2 Volcanion and a Shaman. Play both of the Volcanions down. Go ahead and Shaman to get some more cards. And I have to be careful because I only have the 1 Floatstone. I don't know. That bugs me a little bit that I only have 1 Floatstone and a couple other switching cards. And there we go. I do hit a Max Elixir that I can throw onto this Volcanion eventually. Maybe. There we go. Go for a Trainer's Mail. See what I can get. I get a Sycamore. I don't know. I kind of want to end. Do I want to end or do I want a Sycamore? So I'm going to end just to keep the Super Rod in case I need it. And then, okay, I get a couple Fire Energy that I can start racking onto Flareon. I didn't get away to discard any Fire Energy, which stinks a little bit, but I mean, it's not the end of the world. Let's go ahead and put the Max Elixir, put that onto the Flareon, maybe. There we go. And am I going to attach? Yeah, let's just go ahead and attach to the Flareon as well. I think Flareon, maybe, no. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to attach to the Volcanion. I like that a little bit better. And then, do I want a Shaman? Yeah, screw it. Let's Shaman. Might as well get as many cards as possible. See if I can get a Volcanion to throw that Fighting Fury Belt onto. And I do not. But I do go to Flareon, which I'm going to go ahead and slap a Fighting Fury Belt onto. And there we go. Alright, so I think Flareon's going to have to be my main attacker in this game. Just try to start one-shotting things. And we see the Rough Seas. But you know what? I'm okay with this because it just means I can get rid of my Hoopa and 2 Shaman just to have a board full of stuff that I actually want to see. And depending on what I draw, I actually might be able to one-shot this Palkia next turn with Steam Artillery. I need to draw 3 Fire Energy. That's what I really need. Or, okay, my opponent... oh, darn it. See, that's why I think I need another... do I want to Steam Up? Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and Steam Up, see if I can draw a switch off the Sycamore. But you know what, that's... darn it, there we go. That's the switch that I like to see. Let's go ahead and switch into my Volcanion on the bench, or my baby Volcanion. And, ooh, that was a mistake, I think. Yeah, what I should have done is went ahead and Max Elixired onto it while it was on the bench. But I was just too excited about the switch to go ahead and do that. But see, this is why I think I need to alter the deck a little bit, just because I don't know. I feel like I need another Floatstone just so I can have 4 ways of retreating a Volcanion instead of only 3. And don't hit a Max Elixir, but I don't know. I've kind of been questioning in my testing what I need the Max Elixir for, and instead of the Steam Artillery this turn, I think I'm just going to go ahead and Power Heater, just steam it up a couple times, and then go for a Power Heater to get damage onto the Palkia. I mean, it's a good 90 damage. My opponent will be able to heal a little bit of it off, but I don't know. I think with Steam Ups next turn or a Flareon, I will be able to be just fine. And if my opponent heals down to 60, I actually will need a Steam Up to be able to knock it out next turn if I can draw another energy, but I also think this deck needs a little bit more energy as well, just because, I mean, half my energy is already on the board, and like 1 or 2 is already in the discard pile. I think 2? No, because I got both of them out last turn with the power heater. But yeah, so there's another energy. I'm just going to go ahead and Steam Up again. And yeah, I mean, I'm already running kind of low on energy in my deck, and you need to keep steaming up in this deck for it to work best. And I mean, on the bright side, I do get, wow, that actually worked really, really well, because what I can do is go ahead and Steam Up. I think I need to Steam Up 2 more times. Yeah. Need to Steam Up 2 more times to be able to knock out the Palkia with Power Heater. And I mean, on the bright side, that worked out well, but I mean, I don't really have any energy left to Steam Up with. And yeah, I'm just going to grab the energy off of the active Volcanion, go ahead and Flash Fire with that Flareon from the Volcanion on the bench, go for the Power Heater to knock out the Palkia, get 2 more energy back from the discard pile, start powering up my Flareons to be able to attack. And I mean, while this version of the deck is working for me, and I actually admittedly kind of like it, I think I'm going to change the deck a little bit to where it's less focused on Flareon and more focused on Volcanion. But either way, I'm going to ride out the rest of this battle, and oh my god, see, I mean, like, my opponent is doing what they have to, so like, I don't blame them for doing this, but it's just kind of, I don't know, I think it's really kind of bogus when your opponent has nothing, so they just start Lysandering you a bunch, and I'm just like, oh, damn it. But, I mean, nothing I can do. My opponent, I'm taking nothing away from my opponent. They are doing exactly what they have to in order to win this match. But, wait, hold on. I have 1 energy in the discard pile. I have 7 on the board. I think I'm running out of energy. Yeah, I really think I am, and, oh, that's kind of cool. What I can do is go ahead and, do I want to just leave the Volcanion? You know what, I'm gonna try to start manually retreating my Volcanion, because Rough Seas actually can take effect on my Volcanion, which is really awesome. And yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm gonna have to just start manually retreating my Volcanion. I can't Sycamore, because otherwise I'm just gonna lose all the cards in my deck. And my opponent's gonna keep Aqua Turboing, powering up his Palkia manually and powering up the Articuno on the bench, so it's frustrating, but you know what, it's what my opponent has to do. Like I said, I don't blame them at all. They're making the optimal play for their situation, and what I can do right here is go ahead and Fisherman to get 1 energy back into my hand to basically force my opponent to go for like the Pearl Hurricane or whatever it is. And again, I don't want to end, because I would get less cards and my opponent would get a fresh hand of 6. And I want to force him to Pearl Hurricane to knock out my Volcanion, or else I will be able to retreat next turn. So that's kind of what I'm trying to force my opponent to do. But either way, it's frustrating. I definitely am going to edit this deck after this match, just because, I mean, I want to be able to, I want to have more fire energy in my deck, and also have another Float Stone for stupid cases like this. I mean, once again, I mean, I hate my opponent right now for doing this, but I know at the same time he's doing exactly what he has to. So yeah, I definitely think I'm going to edit this deck before next game in order to be able to just get, well, have more energy available to me and have more means of going for, well, more means of getting Volcanion out of the active spot if it gets Lysandered there. And okay, so that works. What is my play right now? I can't Sycamore. You know what? Screw it. I'm just going to end. Hopefully my opponent won't Lysander me again, because he'll actually have some decent cards. And oh yes, an Escape Rope! Oh, that is beautiful to see. Oh my gosh. That is the last switching card I have in my deck, so... And also all but one... Wait, yeah. All but one of my energy is on the field right now. So, if my opponent manages to Lysander a Volcanion in again, then I think I actually just lose. So, if my opponent manages to Lysander a Volcanion in, then I completely lose. I have no way of retreating it at this point. So, definitely editing this deck after this match, but I mean, this one is more Flareon centric, and hopefully my opponent will just try to go for a Sycamore or draw support as opposed to Lysandering again, because like I said, if he Lysanders again, game over, but hopefully he will have enough Pokemon, well, he will have enough draw support to where he'll be like, you know what, I don't have to Lysander this turn, I'm just going to try to get my board set up as well as possible. And by the way, don't think that I overlooked the fact that my opponent got 3 tails with Tri-Edge. I'm very, very happy about that one, because if my opponent had gotten even 2 heads, then he would have knocked out my Volcanion and taken 3 prizes, and then we would have been in a bad position. But you know what? I'm just going to roll with it. I'm going to consider it karma for my opponent continually Lysandering in my Volcanions and just go with it. But alright, so my opponent attaches the Fighting Fury Belt to the Palkia. That's weird. I don't know, I would think that my opponent would try to retreat into his Articuno in order to be able to try to knock out my Flareon with 2 heads this turn, but I don't know, maybe. Goes for energy onto the Manaphy. Why wouldn't you just retreat into your... What was the point of that? Why wouldn't you just retreat into your Articuno and then have Max Elixir the energy onto the Palkia and save the energy switch for when you actually need it? I don't know. But either way, I just have to hope that the Articuno does not get 2 heads. I mean, it's a 50-50. Admittedly, my opponent is kind of deserving 2 or 3 heads on this Tri-Edge. And what the heck is my opponent doing? No, we lose. We actually lose at this point. Actually... Oh, wait. My opponent's going to knock me out. Not bad. Wait, yes? Yeah. My opponent will knock me out and take 3 prizes, and I don't... That was an inadvertent choke on my opponent's part. I mean, they didn't realize it, but if they had not attacked and just Lysander my Volcanion in, there was nothing I could do, and I would actually just lose. So, luckily, my opponent went for... I mean, that is 100% the smarter play. I mean, he doesn't know what I'm running in my deck. He doesn't know what I have left. So, it's 100% the smarter play to take 3 prizes on that, and also 3 prizes is just so darn tempting at that point. But what I think I'm going to do is just go ahead and... Well, I mean, I have to knock out this Articuno. That is first and foremost. But I'm going to Shaman to draw some more cards. Hopefully not too many. Go ahead and counter the Rough Seas because my Volcanion has already been completely healed. There is nothing more I can do with it. I could commit Suicide and Sycamore, but I don't think that is a smart play. Let's go ahead and max Elixir. Maybe throw another energy somewhere or not, because I don't have it. I'm not even sure if I have it in my deck, but let's just go ahead and... do I want to Flash Fire? Or actually, you know what? Yeah, let's just go ahead and Blaze Ball. Knock out this Articuno, take 1 more prize, and be that much closer to winning the match. If I can Lysander... Actually, I think I might be able to get back-to-back knockouts on the Palkia and the... what is that thing on the bench? It's a Manaphy. And okay, there's a Regice. Okay, my opponent is starting to power up a Regice. That is a problem. Yeah, that is a big problem. Oh man, please don't hit another Max Elixir, because otherwise I would be in a lot of trouble. Okay, see a Fighting Fury Belt onto it. That's even worse. And another Max Elixir. No, please don't hit it. Oh, crap. Okay, well, guys, we are officially screwed. It was nice knowing you all, and thank you very much for watching. I'm just going to jump off my bed and hope that something happens. Okay, Energy Recycler. You know what? I'm cool with that. That's a pretty cool card. And, oh boy, we see another stupid Rough Seas. That's gross. But, okay, is the Pokemon Ranger... No, it's not in my discard pile. My opponent will be able to hit me for a lot of damage, but I actually can... Ooh. Yeah, what I can do is go ahead and get... Or actually what I could do is go ahead and Lysander. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and Lysander in that Palkia to take 2 more prizes. Yeah, let's go ahead and Lysander in the Palkia because that's the only other thing with energy. No, I don't need to Flash Fire. Wrong Flareon. I'm going to go ahead and Flash Fire onto this Flareon right here. Go for a Trainer's Mail. Ooh, grab the... You know what? I'm going to grab the Pokemon Ranger, because you never know when it could come in handy. And then let's go for a... Let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and go for a Blaze Ball. I don't need to counter the Stadium right now. Will I be able to knock out the Palkia? 130. I'm doing exactly 130, so sweet. I'll be able to knock out the Palkia and be able to take 2 prizes and be 1 prize closer, so I actually think I might be able to use Pokemon Ranger. Well, especially because I draw that Fire Energy, which is my last one in the entire deck, so I'm very, very glad I drew it. My opponent will be able to... Okay, thank God he doesn't have an N, because otherwise we would just kind of be up a creek without a paddle and just kind of have to be throwing stuff at the Regice in hopes that we can eventually knock it out. But luckily my opponent has to go for a Misty's Determination, which I still think is a pretty cool supporter. I mean, you have to discard to get a card, and that can come in very handy a lot of times. Did my opponent even grab a card? I don't know. Either way, my opponent is going to just Resistance Blizzard, knock out my Flareon, but he doesn't realize that I actually am going to knock him out with my Flareon next turn. See, he thinks he's safe because he went for the Resistance Blizzard. But little does he realize I get to go for a Pokemon Ranger to win the game, and you know what? The fact that I'm going to get to go for a Pokemon Ranger to not only go for a Pokemon Ranger and use it effectively, but to actually be able to win the game with a Pokemon Ranger is, just 100% assures that while I'm going to change the deck after this one, this is going to 100% be in the live. And then I'm going to go ahead and steam up, get 30 more damage with my Flareon to be able to knock out this Regice with a Blaze Ball and win the game. So Pokemon Ranger coming through clutch. All 3 of my Volcanion, or my baby Volcanions, decide to just sit in my hand or sit in the prizes the entire match and not do anything. So that was a really cool match where we were able to overcome a type disadvantage. And you know what? I could end the live here, but I'm going to go ahead and change the deck and bring you another match with, well, the new version of this deck. Alrighty, we have found a match against a Stolen Plains with, in my opinion, a better version of this deck. What I just went back and did was get rid of all of the max elixirs because I feel like Volcanion in itself does that job plenty well as well. And also I put in some more energy and another Float Stone just because. And wait, crap, that means I'm going to have to go back and redo the deck part of this deck video. Whatever, you guys are worth it, but... Okay, I start off with a pretty darn good hand, and it looks like my opponent's running a pure Psychic deck with Fighting Energy, but also DCEs. So this is like... the only Psychic deck that I know that uses Fighting Energy is a Mega Mewtwo X deck. But why would a Mega Mewtwo X deck run DCEs as well? Could this be like a Mega Mewtwo X and Y hybrid? That'd be kind of cool, I'm not going to lie, but... Either way, since we're dealing with Mega Mewtwo's, looks like I'm going to focus on Volcanion. That's what I think this version of the deck does anyway, is focuses more on attacking with Baby Volcanion rather than Flareon, which I think is actually a better version of this deck, but we will see how effective it is. I wasn't able to test much. Actually, I wasn't able to test it all with this new version. I just went ahead and made it and said, screw it, I'm just going to do it live and do it for the live. So yeah, you guys are actually seeing the first match I have gotten with this new version of the deck. Let's hope it doesn't just crap the bed. And my opponent is taking, he finally plays an active Pokemon, but my opponent is taking their sweet time figuring out what they are going to put active and if they're even going to put anything on the bench. So hopefully my opponent doesn't lag out, because I actually really like this starting hand and I kind of want to keep it. Admittedly, I don't like getting rid of the VS Seekers. Getting rid of 2 of them early is very unfortunate, but the fact that Blacksmith isn't in this deck, I think I said earlier, maybe I didn't, I don't know. The fact that I was going to put Blacksmith in, okay, I get a Float Stone, so my opponent starts with a Shaman, that sucks a lot. So hopefully my opponent stays in, because I kind of like how I'm starting, but let's just go ahead and play the Fighting Fury Belt there, Float Stone there. I have another Float Stone now, so I don't have to worry about just playing one of them. I'm going to play the Volcanion down. And actually, yeah, I think I'm just going to end my turn right there. I could play the Flareon and the Shaman, but I'm going to be able to play out enough cards next turn to where I'll be able to Shaman for even more, and maybe my opponent will be tempted to end me down to where I'll get a new hand, which I wouldn't mind either. But either way, I like my start. Admittedly, I had to throw one of the Float Stones onto something that I didn't necessarily want to, but I think I'm still going to be fine regardless. And okay, this is, I mean, we see the Shaman, which sucks, but I think we're going to get it confirmed whether or not this is a Mewtwo deck or not right now on the Ultra Ball, because, I mean, I can't think of any other deck that would be, and okay, it is a Mewtwo deck. Got it. So, I mean, I couldn't think of anything else that would possibly run DCEs and Fighting Energy while be a Psychic deck, and, yep, see the Mewtwo Spirit Link, so this is a 100% Mega Mewtwo X deck, and okay, we get another Flareon. That's interesting. But let's go ahead and Escape Rope so I can start getting some damage on this Mewtwo, because I don't think any of my Pokemon will be able to O-Code. I mean, they potentially could if I get like 5 energy on Flareon and then 2 or 3 Steam Ups. I think it'd have to be 3 to knock out Mega Mewtwo X, but I'm just going to go ahead and attach the energy to that Volcanion, because I'm gonna be focusing on attacking with Volcanion this game. Go for a Steam Up, that way I can Shaman eventually. Yeah, Shaman for 4 cards. Hopefully get like a Skyfield and another Volcanion or something like that. Well, I get a Scorched Earth. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is Ultra Ball. Oh, great. I'm going to have to get rid of another VS Seeker. So I'm going to get rid of 3 VS Seekers, grab another Ultra Ball, go ahead and play the Volcanion down. I think I'm just going to go ahead and Steam Up again to power up Power Heater as much as possible. Don't want to play the Scorched Earth. Yeah, screw it. Let's go ahead and play it. I mean, my opponent might be able to benefit from it, but I probably won't draw a Skyfield this turn anyway. Never mind, I drew a Skyfield. Well, you know what? I kind of like having the energy in hand guaranteed to Steam Up next turn, so I am not going to Scorched Earth. I'm just going to go ahead and Power Heater. Do 90 damage, and plus this way, if my opponent doesn't manage to Mega Evolve, I will be able to knock out the Mewtwo with a Power Heater next turn, and screw it, I'm just going to go ahead and put 1 energy on the Volcanion on the bench, and then, well, 1 energy on the baby Volcanion, and then 1 on the Volcanion EX. I mean, I really wanted to put it on Flareon, but, I mean, Flareon's able to bring the energy to it with Flash Fire anyway, so I think I'm just going to throw it on the Volcanion just because I can, and because I can do it later, and, crap, that's why I didn't want to... That's kind of why I didn't want to Scorched Earth, because my opponent could take advantage of it, but, whatever. Okay, so it's a Mega Mewtwo Y, and, yes, Fighting Fury Belt coming through clutch. I mean, I survived with 10 HP, all because of that Fighting Fury Belt. So I need, like, 3 Power Heaters in order to, or 3 Steam Ups in order to knock out my opponent's Mega Mewtwo with a Power Heater. So I think... Okay, so I need to draw 2 more energy off of the Shaman in order to be able to knock out this Mewtwo, but you know what? Screw it. I'm going to play it safe. Go ahead and put the energy on the Volcanion. That way I have the Steam Artillery ready to go just in case. And okay, glad I did because I didn't draw it. And while I could Sycamore, I'm kind of running somewhat low on cards, but I'm going to go ahead and throw the Fighting Fury Belt onto my Flareon. This Mega Mewtwo is going to go down this turn anyway, so I'm not worried about powering up my Flareon anymore. And I'm just going to go for the Steam Artillery, knock out this Mega Mewtwo Y, and take 2 prizes. And I mean, my opponent will be able to knock me out with Shaman's Sky Return, which is kind of funny, but I get my last VS Seeker, so I must use it wisely. And you know what? I really, really, really like my board position right now. I mean, I have 3 Volcanion EXs on the bench. I have 1 baby Volcanion fully set up. I have 2 more on the bench, 1 with a Floatstone, 1 with a Fighting Fury Belt. I even have a Flareon as like a late game cleaner if I need it. So, I mean, I'm just in such a perfect position right now, and my opponent has, I mean, a little bit of nothing. I mean, my opponent has the Shaman, and he's going to Ultra Ball. Has to get rid of a Mega Mewtwo X, which is, I mean, unfortunate for him, and just go for a Mewtwo. Wow. I'm actually going to be able to get another knockout this turn. So let's see if I can get a Fisherman or something like that, and okay, I get those guys, and I get an Ultra Ball. I'm just going to go ahead and, I think, grab the Floatstone. Just because I think that's the best card for this situation. Go ahead and throw it onto... Yeah, throw it onto a Volcanion. I mean, why not? Go for a... Do I want to Steam Up? I don't know. I mean, I need 3 to power up. I need 3 Steam Ups to knock out the Shaman with a Power Heater, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get that, and I don't think I want to go for that just because I will exhaust a bunch of my resources that I want to keep. So, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and throw the Fire Energy onto that Volcanion on the bench. And okay, so glad I did that. And then I'm just going to go ahead and Trainer's Mail for a Hex Maniac, because why the heck not? Go for another Trainer's Mail, see what I can get. Yeah, switch. Sure, that is perfect. Hopefully my opponent doesn't end me, because I kind of like my hand, but what I'm going to go ahead and do is Steam Up, just cuz. Would I actually... Yeah, I'm just going to Steam Artillery. I mean, I didn't need to, but I wanted to just go ahead and throw more energy in my discard pile so that I can Fisherman for the absolute most cards next turn, and knock out the Mewtwo in one hit with a Steam Artillery, because if I get... Yeah, if I have 4 fire energy in my discard pile, which I will 100% get once my opponent knocks out this Volcanion, I will actually... Yeah, I think I'll win, and my opponent just has to be a Seeker for a Skyla. He doesn't have any way of getting my hand size down anymore. So I actually think I'm going to be able to win. I think I'll be able to win next turn almost regardless. I mean, unless my opponent has a red card or something like that, or a Fighting Fury Belter spends the turn Mega Evolving. But yeah, I think my opponent wouldn't even risk that. He would want to take out the threat that was in front of him right there. And we do see... Oh! Okay, well, my opponent just sealed the game, because now I can go ahead and go into this Volcanion, go ahead and Fisherman for 4 energy, Steam Up 3 times, attach one of them to my active Volcanion, and then knock out the Mewtwo with a Steam Artillery and win the game. So, yeah, you know what? I like this version of this deck a lot better. It seems a lot more consistent, it seems a lot more powerful, and it seems like you're able to use Steam Up more times, and then Power Heater enough as well to power up your attackers and get the energies back out of the discard pile. So I like this version a lot more, and yet my opponent isn't even going to let me attack. He sees the writing on the wall and just decides to forfeit. So yeah, I mean, Volcanion, Baby Volcanion absolutely put in work, but so did Volcanion EX with all of those Steam Ups. So yeah, I like this version a lot better, and I hope you guys try out both versions for yourself. But I mean, again, in my opinion, the second version was a little bit better. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And this is Styx, signing out. Why not? See you guys.